I am in Fruita, Colorado, and this is a statue of Mike, the Headless Chicken.
Mike the Headless Chicken is one of the most legendary real animal oddities in history. And the reason he has this honorary scrap metal sculpture in downtown Fruita is because he was from here. Near this western Colorado town on September 10th, 1945, Mike, the young, delicious-looking rooster, was just pecking through the dust, minding his own business. But little did he know that the Olsen family was planning on having him for dinner that evening. Lloyd Olsen set out to perform the routine task to prepare their chicken dinner, but he knew his visiting mother-in-law would savor Mike's neck, so he positioned his axe precisely and chopped Mike's head clean off, leaving a generous amount of neck bone left. The Headless Chicken then ran around as a chicken sometimes does after execution, but he didn't die. After a while, he just went on trying to peck for food and hung out with his barnyard friends. Since Mike had such a will to live, Lloyd Olsen decided to take care of him and found a way to feed and water him through his neck hole with an eyedropper, dropping one grain in at a time. Mike would also try to crow, but it would just come out as a growling sound. The chicken anomaly was sent to Salt Lake City for observation, and scientists determined that the axe blade had missed the chicken's jugular vein and that a clot had prevented Mike from bleeding to death. Most of Mike's brainstem and one ear was left on his body, and since a rooster's reflex actions are controlled by the brainstem, Mike was able to live quite healthily. He just didn't have a face anymore. Mike lived for around 18 months without his head. He grew from 2.5 to 8 pounds and became quite the celebrity in his own lifetime. He was featured on Life magazine and billed as Miracle Mike. Then Mike set out starring on a sideshow tour across the country, and at 25 cents per peek, people would come in droves to see Mike. On March 17, 1947, in a Phoenix motel, Mike tragically choked to death on a piece of corn. My understanding is that the Olsens accidentally left the syringe they used to clear Mike's throat at the sideshow, and they couldn't save him. They tried to cover up that Mike had died, saying that they sold Mike off to someone else, but that wasn't true. Because of the death cover-up, I have no idea what happened to Mike's body. I don't think he was taxidermied, and everything I've researched has implied that his body was lost, probably destroyed, which is very sad. I have seen in Ripley's Believe It or Not auditorium sometimes they have replicas of Mike, but I wish his body could have actually been preserved, so this unique scrap metal sculpture in his hometown is gonna have to do. Also, the town has a Mike the Headless Chicken festival the first weekend after Memorial Day, and I would like to attend that someday. Mike's statue is in front of an old bank building downtown. Across the street they have some chicken bicycle racks with the heads attached. There's a penny farthing bike, and an antique public piano and a little free library. That is a really old and faded dinosaur mural. That is amazing. Here's a solar-powered public phone charging station. Fruita is a neat little town. I really appreciate their Mike the Headless Chicken and dinosaur theming. Here's 4 Cocopellis in a circle. Following the chicken tracks down Main Street, Fruita. In the middle of this traffic circle is a giant dinosaur statue. I freaking love Fruita. This homemade T-Rex is about 20 feet tall and terrorizes drivers as they go around the traffic circle. The dinosaur was named Greta by local school children, and she's wearing a mask for safety due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That's a thoughtful dinosaur right there. I do wish they could make a statue of Mike as tall and as prominent as this dinosaur. He most certainly deserves it. Fruita is home to the Dinosaur Journey Museum, which recently reopened. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to see that. Hopefully I will return. There's a lemon-shaped stand and an Airstream food truck over there. A little ways down the road is the skeletal raptor riding a bicycle. You don't see that every day. Seriously, there's a lot of big bicycle sculptures here in Fruita. I guess biking is a pretty popular pastime around here. And here is the Fruita Veterans Memorial with a piece of old artillery. But there's a bigger war memorial in town we're gonna see next. There is a dinosaur painted onto that mill. That is awesome. And here's some railroad cars parked in Fruita. This is the Western Slope Vietnam War Memorial Park in Fruita, a spectacular memorial to one of the most costly and controversial wars in American history. At its center is a genuine Huey on a pole. This one was used in Vietnam. These helicopters are an icon of the Vietnam War. In fact, the war is sometimes referred to as a helicopter war because these were so important and widely used. I had heard that there were some automatic sensors at this memorial that triggered sound effects like a Huey zooming by, and that this memorial would blast Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. I was looking around but I couldn't see any signs of sensors and I didn't set off anything, so they may not work at all anymore. Here's a big painted Colorado state flag. This is a giant Vietnam service ribbon. The red and yellow colors reflect the flag of the Republic of Vietnam, and the green alludes to the jungles. There's also a sculpture of a serviceman finally returning home to his parents. This is a really nice top-tier memorial to the Vietnam War, a remembrance of the over 600 Coloradans and 58,000 American troops who didn't come back. Nearby, I found Jackalope Liquors, a liquor store named after and themed around my spirit animal, the jackalope. I don't feel that drinking is compatible with the jackalope philosophy, but this was a pleasant surprise nonetheless. Now I'm gonna drive 18 miles east to the city of Grand Junction, Colorado. Alright, made it to Grand Junction, Colorado, and I'm gonna explore the historic downtown district. This is an equestrian statue of John Otto, the man with a monumental vision. He was known as the Hermit of Monument Canyon, which due to his advocacy became Colorado National Monument. I did visit and have a video on it. He saw the beauty of Monument Canyon and this region and believed people would come out to visit, so he spent much of his life blasting trails by dynamite and pickaxe with his dogs, burros, and horse for companions. One thing I've immediately noticed about downtown Grand Junction is that it is filled with art. There's public art on every block, so this is going to be interesting. Here's a buffalo made entirely of polished chrome car bumpers. This work is called Chrome on the Range and was made by Lou Willie. I've seen some of his other chrome animals before. They're pretty interesting and very shiny. This appears to be a bust of Jesus Christ with a crown of thorns. I love these gorillas that you can sit on. There's plenty of buildings that were built in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s along Main Street, but it seems a lot newer than some of the other Colorado mining towns. Grand Junction is a very pleasant city to walk around in. Upon this site in October 1882, the first newspaper in town was published, known as the Grand Junction News by Edwin Price. There's the Crest Mercantile Building, built in 1929, and next to it is the Mesa Theater. It originally opened on the site as the Majestic Theater before 1915. The building was reconstructed and reopened in 1953 in its present form, but it closed as a movie theater in 1987. I am generally not the best interpreter of contemporary art, so I'm not going to try, but that looks pretty cool. There's a naked armless lady with very sizable thighs standing on a horse. This is Bucky the Jackalope. I am so happy to see a jackalope here. Colorado's Western Slope region must be home to some jackalopes. That's a creepy faceless baby. Here's a bronzed pig about to chow down on some corn. This is a portrait bust of Chief Ouray, the chief of the Utes and known for his negotiating with the United States that largely got their tribe spared from being massacred. Here's some colorful tiles with handprints. I'm guessing these are some busts of important people from Grand Junction. Here's another raptor on a bicycle. That would be a pretty scary sight in real life. This appears to be some sort of uranium bomb. This was uranium mining territory, so that makes sense. I love this bloated frog king. That is beyond fantastic. I'm gonna eat at the Main Street Cafe, which is a 50s themed diner. There's lots of retro decor and clothing lining the walls. Very cool. And Elvis Presley himself is wearing a mask. So Grand Junction has a very cool Main Street district. Very visitor friendly and lots of great artwork. I hope you enjoyed seeing the statue of Mike the Headless Chicken and the dinosaurs. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Please check out my other videos on roadside oddities, historic towns, and much more, including the videos I made on the Museum of the West here in Grand Junction and nearby Colorado National Monuments. And thanks for watching!